morning, everybody. Good morning. It's JPR, and today I thought of a really cool challenge for myself. What is the best Pokemon in every region that can solo an entire Elite Four and Champion? It seemed like a loaded question to answer, though. With most regions containing several hundred Pokemon, there are tons of options to consider. Which is why today I've enlisted the help of my good friend and fellow Champion League podcast member, Hybrid Hero.
Oh, what's going on, guys? It's me, Hybrid. I'm here to kick some Elite Four butt.
Okay, so to lay down some rules, we have to pick a Pokemon that can at least debatably win against every Pokemon in every Elite Four's arsenal. However, for the sake of time, we will only be considering the newest version of each region's Elite Four. So for Hoenn, we'll use Omega Ruby and Alpha Sapphire, for Sinnoh, we'll use Brilliant Diamond and Shining Pearl, etc. The only exception is Kanto, since for Let's Go, it's definitely just the partner Pikachu and Eevee, so to make that region a little more interesting, we're gonna be using Fire Red and Leaf Green. As for the Pokemon itself, the Pokemon can't go into the league any more than 10 levels above the first member's ace. Any levels you gain during the challenge are fair game. Additionally, you are allowed to change your moves throughout the challenge, but only via TMs that are available to you before the post-game. And to make it just a little more interesting, no legendaries and no items outside of those that you can hold. With those ground rules established, let's get started. So originally, when taking a look at Kanto's Elite Four, I knew I needed to select a fast Pokemon to outspeed threats like Agatha's Gengar, Bruno's Hitmonlee, and Lance's Dragonite. And who of the fast Kanto region Pokemon is better to go with than...
Charizard! Charizard!
No, you idiots, he's not even that fast! It's Aerodactyl. I mean, well, that's originally what I thought. Between Rock Slide, Earthquake, and Fly, it should be pretty easy for Aerodactyl to take down all of Kanto's Elite Four. Unfortunately, one Pokemon at the very beginning proved to be a monumental obstacle. Lorelei Slowbro. No matter what way you slice it, Aerodactyl can't even 2-hit KO this thing, even with Crunch and holding black glasses. Because in Gen 3, all dark moves are still special. And of course, Aerodactyl's special attack is shallower than a kiddie pool. On the flip side, Slowbro easily takes down Aerodactyl in 1 to 2 hits with Surf. I ran all the calculations with various held items and it all proved fruitless. Aerodactyl simply can't overcome this wall. So I turned my attention to another lightning-fast Gen 1 attacker with a similarly great move.
Charizard?
No. Starmie. Lorelei only carries water and ice damaging moves, so Starmie can take basically anything she throws at it. On top of that, Starmie learns Thunderbolt via TM, so cleaning up the rest just got a lot easier. Between Surf and Psychic, Starmie should easily breeze past Bruno, and once again, Psychic should be enough to completely take care of Agatha since all of her Pokemon are also Poison-type, despite being advertised as the Ghost-type Elite Four member.
Okay, but what about Gengar? It's pretty fast too, and it has Shadow Ball.
True, but Starmie does fortunately just barely edge Gengar out with 115 base speed over Gengar's 110. Just make sure you don't have a speed-lowering nature or a Shadow Ball is probably ending your run. Well, maybe not. Ghost is physical in the first 3 gens for whatever reason, but it still is a slight concern. As for Lance, Thunderbolt the Gyarados, Surf the Aerodactyl, and Ice Beam the rest. It should be pretty easy. Even the last battle against your rival shouldn't give Starmie too much trouble since its incredibly wide move pool hits every one of his Pokemon for super effective damage. Save for Alakazam, but Alakazam can't really hit back with anything effective. All you gotta do is tank 1 Giga Drain from Exeggutor, which shouldn't be too hard since Giga Drain only has 60 base power on this gen. If you chose Bulbasaur as your starter, that route should certainly be the easiest since Blue carries both Rhydon and Charizard in that case, but honestly, all of these routes are pretty winnable, I would say. Who you got for Gen 2, Hybrid?
For Johto's Elite Four in Heart Gold and Soul Silver, it faces similar problems to the issues of Kanto's Elite Four, in the sense that, though we have leaders of specialized types, all of the Elite Four members and Lance all use Pokemon of other types as well, minus Will. But unlike Kanto, what Johto's Elite Four faces is a really low level cap, making it so that Pokemon like Dragonite can't be used here, or even Pokemon who would have better moves at higher levels. On top of that, Johto restricts a bunch of strong usable Pokemon till the Kanto region. Pokemon such as Snorlax and the Kanto starters, as well as other Johto Pokemon. With all these restrictions, there are not too many reliable options for Johto's Elite Four, so much to the point where we're thinking that, for Alligator, our starter from the game, might be the most reliable option here, since there doesn't seem to be too many other reliable options. But then it hit us. Gyarados can pretty much do everything that Feraligatr does, but do it better. All because of one teeny tiny move called Dragon Dance, which it gets at level 44. Gyarados has higher overall attack, speed, and base stat total than Feraligatr, and has all the checks needed to take on the Elite Four. For Will, every single one of his Pokemon is weak to Dark, And while Gyarados might not have access to Crunch,
Wait, he doesn't?
yeah, but Bite after D-Dance still does more damage than a base Crunch, so as long as Gyarados is holding a Lump Berry and it nullifies Johto's Confuse Ray, setting it up and taking out Will should be no problem. For Koga, you should be able to set up a lot against his lead Ariados, although Poison Jab and Giga Drain will definitely do a bit of damage, but as long as you cover for poison damage with a held berry, you should be fine here, and then you can just sweep his team with Waterfall, Bite, and Ice Fang. With Bruno, Gyarados resists most of Bruno's Pokemon moves, but that Thunder Punch from Hitmonchan is looking kind of deadly. Thankfully, Bruno's lead Hitmontop can't really touch Gyarados, to the point where he can probably get to +6 and just utterly destroy his whole team with any move, even with Onix's Sturdy, since Sturdy only blocks Oko moves this generation.
Sheesh!
With Karen, while Confuse Ray and Double Team could be a bit problematic, it's not going to be doing too much damage to you. So long as you have another Berry and Dragon Dance, you can get rid of her lead here, and after that, you have a super effective move ready for each one of Karen's other Pokemon. And for Lance, you actually have the toughest matchup here, as you have to go up in a mirror match against a Gyarados. It's likely going to Dragon Pulse you, but it would be at a lower level at this point. So if you can Dragon Dance once or twice and go for those bites, get those flinch hacks, and take out the Gyarados, you should be able to wash away the rest of Lance's team with Ice Fang and Waterfall, no problem.
For the Hoenn region, since we're using Oras as the games of choice, we figured a Mega Evolution was the best possible way to go, but honestly, even with the most broken of Megas, it was a hard search. The Hoenn Elite Four is one of the most varied when it comes to weird type combinations. Dark, Ghost, Ice, Dragon, and Steel. All of these types cover each other's weaknesses really well. Not to mention the movesets in the remakes are surprisingly really competent. But eventually we found our Mon. Gyarados. Again.
Boo! This guy stinks! Get your own Pokemon, copycat!
But wait, I'm not totally copying, because this time it's Mega Gyarados. Well, except for the first battle against Sydney, since he has Cacturn and Shiftery, it's probably better to not Mega Evolve and keep your neutral interaction with grass moves. Though you could Mega Evolve at the end of the fight to deal with Sharpedo and Absol if he hasn't already used them. And yes, the Gyarados is very easily obtainable during the main story on Route 114, we did check. For this fight, a moveset of Dragon Dance, Ice Fang, Waterfall, and Crunch is preferred.
Wait, he learns Crunch now?
Yeah, dude, power creep is crazy. Truthfully, Crunch isn't for this battle, it's for Phoebe, but since it's not a TM, it's the only move that we can't teach to him later. Basically, sit up on Mightyena with Dragon Dance, then Ice Fang those pesky grass types. And as for Absol and Sharpedo, although you won't have a super effective move, you can easily outdamage both of them. For Phoebe, just Mega Evolve on turn 1 and crunch away on the bones of those ghost types. If they even have bones. They actually probably don't, but still.
But what about Curse? If you get hit by that, you just die in 4 turns, right?
Yes, originally that was a big concern, but we ran the calcs and a Mega Gyarados at level 55 or above guarantee one-shots the Dusclops with Crunch, as long as it doesn't have an attack-lowering nature. For Glacia, you Mega Evolve, Dragon Dance on the Glalie, which you can do really easily, her League Glalie doesn't really have any threatening moves, and then between Crunch and Waterfall, the rest is easy. And as for Drake, yeah, just Dragon Dance and then Ice Fang everything except for the Kingdra, which you can easily take care of with Crunch. Sorry, I know, we're playing extremely lame right now, just Dragon Dancing on everybody, but hey, you gotta do what you gotta do. For Steven, there is going to be one change made to the moveset. Using TM26 will substitute Ice Fang out for Earthquake to make those Steel types a bit easier to deal with. Now for his lead Skarmory, if it uses Toxic on turn 1...
Turn off your DS, pack your bags, go back to the beginning, and pray he doesn't do it again on the next run. Because you are dead.
Yeah, that's actually right. Unfortunately, without the usage of items, you cannot KO Steven's team in less than the 8 turns it takes for Toxic to kill you. So, using Waterfall on turn 1 with Mega Gyarados with a 30% flitch chance, the fact that Skarmory will randomly choose between Toxic or Aerial Ace, and Toxic's 90% accuracy, there is only a 31% chance that you will actually be poisoned. So that's your best bet right there. Use Waterfall for the 2-hit KO, and pray that it flinches for extra insurance. After that, Armaldo is most likely switching in since it can hit for super effective damage with X-Scissor, but you can definitely live at least one, so use that turn to Dragon Dance and then start your sweep. Anyway, let's hope that Gen 4 gives us another Pokemon that isn't Gyarados.
Let's be real here. No one actually remembers Sinnoh's Elite Four. We only ever remember Cynthia.
True.
And when we think about Cynthia, we think about Garchomp. This monstrous Pokemon that will rip through all of Sinnoh and can only be stopped by itself. So, yeah, why not use Garchomp against Garchomp?
Also true.
There are only 2 Pokemon that outspeed Garchomp in the entirety of the first run of Elite Four in Brilliant Diamond and Shining Pearl, and those are Rapidash and Infernape. Yeah, at least the only 2 fire types in Sinnoh were made to be really fast. But since they are fire types, they're not much of a threat to Garchomp, and Garchomp can just run through them. The first 2 members of Sinnoh's Elite Four, Aaron and Bertha, start off with similar strategies. Their leads of Dustox and Quagsire have Toxic on them, and for this reason, you'll want to stop a Lumberry on Garchomp for these 2 battles. And the strategy for these 2 is definitely going to be Swords Dance. Once you Swords Dance on Aaron, you should be able to sweep a majority of his team with any Rock-type move that Garchomp can learn by TM, and then finish off with an Earthquake on Drapion. For Bertha, however, to one-shot this Quagsire, you're most likely going to need to set up Swords Dance twice, but again with the Lumberry. Even if you get Toxic a second time, you still have around 8 turns to take out the rest of her team, which should be just more than enough. Just be cautious of Golden Sturdy. Try to go for a weaker move on it so that she doesn't full restore and screw you over, and then you can kill it with Earthquake. Flint with Dragon Claw, Earthquake, and Crunch as your other moves, all of which are moves that Garchomp gets by level up, should make Flint no problem at all to take out. And Lucian, since Steel doesn't resist Dark anymore, should also be no problem with these same moves. So Bronzong will also die to Crunch. Lucian's Mr. Mime might be a bit annoying with the Fairy type, but honestly, just have a Roselli Berry or a Citrus Berry handy as a held item, and you should be good. But I think it's programmed to go for Reflect first every time and Light Screen the second time, so really, that's just a good opportunity to Swords Dance twice, and then attack as if you're +2 because of the Reflect, and you should be good to go till Bronzong. But the Bronzong isn't doing much to you again, so a 2-hit KO should be fine. Another way to work around this is to have Brick Break instead of Earthquake as a TM, and try your luck that way. It's possible, but it's a bit more tedious since you would need a spare Earthquake TM from the underground. Cynthia, surprisingly, isn't all too much of a threat, because you can set up 3 Swords Dance to get the +6 attack on her Spiritomb, which one-shots her whole team with Earthquake, aside from Milotic.
Even at +6?
Yeah, this Milotic is crazy. It has max HP and max defense, but thankfully, because of the previous setup and the Yachi Berry, no matter what, even if Cynthia decides to heal, and even if the Marvel Scale pops, you should be able to take up Milotic without it hitting you ever again. And her Garchomp? Our Garchomp is far superior.
Well, at least when she doesn't have Togekiss. Well hey, not to be a party pooper, but this video's getting kinda long. But lucky for you, you don't have to wait till next week to see the rest of this video, because part 2 is up on Hybrid's channel right now. My boy is extremely close to 100,000 subscribers, so be sure to go help him out. And if you want to hear the 2 of us bicker more often, then be sure to check out the Champion League podcast. So yeah, I'll see you over on Hybrid's channel. You are going right now, right? I mean, if you're not, we can just sit here and talk. How's your day going? Alright, cool. Okay, bye.